Hey, Joel Woodard here. Um, just want to show you what I've been doing so far today. Um, got up around 8:30, and I did this little painting on paper. I've been working with some cardstock paper. It's really great, heavy-duty stuff that I got at Michael's, and it's pretty good for doing some painting and some collaging on. Um, I've been working with this stuff for about a year now, so I really like it. I don't consider it, you know, finished work, so to speak, but it's another way to kind of shake out ideas. And that's why I'm doing this, trying to shake out ideas, trying to work through these blocks that have gripped my head. um, I'm working on a number of paintings right now, as you can see. I've got a few more behind me, and it's they kind of come to a standstill. Excuse me. They there reaches a point when I work where I'm really energetic when I start. Um, Everything seems to be flowing really well. Um, just feels really good, and there comes a point where um, it I get stuck in this limbo kind of state where I know there's something more that needs to happen with the work, but I like what I'm looking at with the work so far, and I don't want to screw it up. I don't want to destroy what I've got. That's kind of the case with this right now. I I love the layout of this. I love the balance of the shapes. Um, I like the color interaction that's happening, the color relationship. But I know it can't stay like this. It can't stay like this. Something else needs to happen. I'm not sure what. So, I've got this area here that I intentionally left unfinished just to force myself into coming back to it at some point, to working on it. And I don't want to wait too long before I work on it again. That can be another issue. Losing contact with painting, as one of my painting instructors, Marie Thibault, used to say, you don't want to lose contact with a work, you know. So, so that's the story on that one. So I just did this to really get myself going, to get my engine roaring. I'm going to work on it a little bit more, and after that, we'll see what I do. I got cobalt blue that I was using here. It's pretty solid in my drawing. I don't know if I want it to be as solid in this little painting. I like the variety of the paint dragging through this other color. This other color I used was quinacridone magenta. If I mispronounced that, please forgive me. I've been using it for a decade, so I should be pronouncing it right. This cobalt blue I'm using right now, it's straight out of the tube. I didn't cut it with white or anything else, so it's looking pretty powerful on the paper right now. Yeah, I really don't have much more to do to this. This is going to be good. So once this is done, I've got a pile of finished work on paper behind me. It'll go on that pile, and maybe something will happen to it in the future. Maybe I'll use it for something else. I just see this as a way of shaking out ideas. This little bit here is getting away from me. I wanted to keep this strokes of cobalt blue within the rectangular shape that I had before, but it was drifting outside, so I'm just going to let it drift and make it look like that's what I meant to do. Okay, I think I'm good with that. Not really sure what the orientation is. Kind of like that. I drew this earlier because I thought it could make a nice, a good component to another painting I'm working on. So, like I said earlier, you know, this is about shaking out ideas, shaking out possibilities. So, this area right here, I don't know if any more blue should go there. I think I'm just going to leave it alone. The last thing I want to do is sit here looking at this for 20 minutes trying to figure it out. You know, I really hate it when that happens. So, okay, I'm going to leave it alone for a little bit. I'm going to set it over here. As you might be able to see in this video, I've got a lot of piles of paper right here for when I'm collaging. So now what am I going to do? I've got 4 paintings I'm staring at. I've got 5 more back here. I've got 1 canvas that I haven't started yet. Why haven't I started this one yet? I was thinking it was a little reckless to start another one when I've got so many unfinished ones. I don't know. Maybe I will just start that. Actually, here, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back to this one. And I had painted these V-shaped lines here, and they went over this shape a little bit. So I'm going to solidify that shape better, okay? That's what I can do right now. And let's see. Another word about shaking out ideas. I do a lot of drawing. Drawing is, and not always abstract drawing. So I've got some figures here, some writing, a lot of drawing to shake out ideas and to keep the wheels turning, keep the engine moving. So that's really important. So I go through maybe one sketchbook every 3 months, something like that. I do maybe 3 or 4 a year. So I draw a lot. I like to draw. And I've been using Prismacolor pencils. I'd say within the last year, I started using those. They're really fun. I really like them. And I was always of the mind that colored pencils was kind of an amateur thing to use. Either an amateur thing or an overly academic thing, which both of those identities, that's not what I want to be. I don't want to be known as an amateur, and I don't want to be known as overly academic. But I bought them, and I really love them. I like the texture of it. I like the colors that you can get. Traditionally, I've been using Tombow brush pens, and do I have any up here? Grab one of those. These Tombow brush pens, Tombow's the brand, and they have a really cool brushy tip. They also have a fine felt tip as well. Okay, I don't use that one that much, and I love drawing with these too. I'm always going to be drawing with these. I love them, but a couple of problems with them. They dry out kind of fast. And you can also get a lot of colors with those, but I don't know, they just seem a little bit harder to maintain. I don't know, there's just something a little easier about colored pencils when it comes to color and playing around. So probably going to be using these too for a very long time. So back to this painting, and I'm just checking the time. I'm going to try and keep these videos short. Scraping off some dry paint on the palette. Pretty sure the color I used was dioxazine purple. We'll see. That can be an issue sometimes, remembering colors you used. Well, I think that's close. I'm going to go with it anyway, just to re-solidify this shape. And if I don't like the color, I'll find it later. So these two tints that I used, I need a tint that's kind of in the middle of what I used. First one I laid down was too light. Second one I laid down was too dark. Still too dark. Let's go a little more extreme, putting titanium white into this mix, which is already in there to begin with. Hopefully this is going to get me where I need to go a lot faster. Okay, that's pretty close. I'm just going to go for it for time's sake. Being careful not to let that corner right there overlap into this. It's just touching. It's if we were in my drawing class, that would be a tangent, which is a big no-no. But what I'm doing right here, sometimes it's necessary. More medium here. usually pretty good with painting straight lines. Anybody's watching this, you might wonder if I've ever used tape off edges. I've never had much luck with that. You know, in my view and my experience, it's more trouble than it's worth. So eyeballing it seems to get me to where I need to be. Texture under here. When I've wanted areas or shapes to have more texture, I have this stuff called heavy gel structure, and I've slathered a lot of that on top of an area, let it dry, paint right over it, and you have more texture. I think this color's turning out nicely. A little darker than I expected, but I think that's okay. It's also a little more saturated, which is good. It's vibing a little more with the green that's behind it. So, dig that. Here's another tangent. This rounded area right here, just touching this darker ovalish area. Is it an oval? Is it a shape, or is it an area? Is it a shape, or is it space? I like to work in that weird kind of, in that ambiguous type of space. I think that's interesting. So, well, there it is. That's it for right now. So, actually, let me do one more thing. I just thought of doing one more thing. Maybe this was it? Okay. No, it doesn't matter. I'm going to expand this angle a little bit more. Really get down into the nitty-gritty of painting sometimes, most of the time. When I'm in museums or galleries, I really get up on top of paintings. I really like to see how artists handled every little square inch of the work. Okay, so I just made this a little bit wider. That's all I did. I think that's a little more interesting. So I'm happy with that. Okay, well, this painting is certainly not finished, but I'm gonna call it with. I'm gonna call it an episode. So I'm gonna turn off the camera in a minute and post this soon. So if any of you have watched this, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, comments, I really would love to engage with a good conversation. That's part of the reason why I'm doing this. But if it so happens that I'm just doing this to talk out ideas, talk out problems, well, that's great too. So, okay. Thanks a lot.